Welcome to my short and brief review of Hunter x Hunter. That's what this is, nothing too detailed or long, but I will rather share my opinions about Hunter x Hunter until the Chimera Ants arc, which I am currently watching. Maybe I will do a second part to this, if this one does well. So if you like it, like, comment and subscribe. Anyways, let's get started with the Hunter license arc. In my opinion, the Hunter license arc is a shonen classic, and I really mean it. Long ago, I already watched Hunter x Hunter 1999, the version from 1999, until the York New arc, I think. So I was already familiar with this arc and many to come. But I have a feeling that I could watch this arc once a year and never get bored. It's just fun to watch, really. The story is rather simple kept. The fighting is without any nen or other stuff yet, but still very enjoyable, as this is probably the only arc where Gon starts out as one of the strongest guys and masters several tasks with ease, more than he does later. The focus here is laid on Gon, Killua, or boys Kurapika and Leorio, of which we see way too less in my opinion, and of course Hisoka, who acts as the wildcard in this arc. Well, the plot is rather simple. As I said, they undergo through several tasks to become hunters, and it utilized as a very good introduction arc for the characters and the world. We also get the first and more or less only opening for Hunter x Hunter, as from now on it only differs slightly, but honestly I love that they use the same opening for over 100 episodes. I am a big fan of a long-running anime using the same opening, so when you think of Hunter x Hunter, you think of Departure, just like you think of Chala Hey Chala when I say Dragon Ball. And Departure is also a banger, so I don't have anything to complain. I have listened to it nearly every time without skipping the opening, so the opening is a banger. Let's continue with the arcs though, and next comes the Zoldyak family arc. Basically, Killua's family locks Killua away from his friends so he can focus on becoming a master assassin. I don't have much to say about this one, and honestly it was okay. I enjoyed it while I watched it, but that's it. And I appreciate that it was short, since I think if they would drag this arc out, it would become boring real fast. Continuing with the Heaven's Arena arc, wasting no time, which was long and maybe shouldn't be that long. We learned about the basics of Nen, Ren, Gyu and all that stuff, which I don't know everything about even now. And we got introduced to their trainer, Wing, and that one child whose name I can't remember, which really tells you how much I thought of them. They were okay side characters, nothing more. Personally, I feel like the training and fighting against weak opponents went way too long. That's what I meant by it getting kinda boring in this arc. I actually enjoyed Kurapika and Leorio not being there, since this was the first time and we could purely focus on Gon and Killua. Of course, Gon vs Hisoka was really cool, and this is also the arc that introduced Best Girl Machi. Overall, again, an okay arc, and honestly this far I couldn't understand why people considered Hunter x Hunter as one of the greatest manga out there, with only one really good arc and two mediocre arcs. What followed though was the York New arc. Kurapika is one of my favorite characters, so I love that he was a cave player in this arc. I think the villains were full of characters, and overall a good villain group. I like when villain groups care for each other, and which showed best in Pakunda's character. I also like when a character is driven by sheer anger, Eren Yeager style, and slaughters the enemy just like Kurapika did. Going that far to learn a skill specifically designed to kill the Phantom Troop is pretty badass. And I could probably talk a lot more about what I love in this arc, but since this is supposed to be a brief summary, that should be enough I think. Summarize, a 10 out of 10 arc in my opinion. It's my favorite arc in Hunter x Hunter. Although since I'm watching the Chimera Ant arc at the moment, I think the number one position might change soon. The last arc I will cover in this video is the Greed Island arc, which is also the first arc I didn't watch in the 1999 version, meaning my first time watching it. I don't know if it was apparent before, but this was the arc I definitely noticed that the music is fantastic. Just wanted to point this out. Gon and Killua play a game called Greed Island, which transports you into a different world basically, and at the beginning it is said that most people can't escape back to reality, which is no problem at all for the main cast during this arc, so that's something I didn't like. The most important new character we are introduced to in this arc is Bisky, the new master of Gon and Killua, who teaches them advanced Nen stuff, which I liked her character more than Wing's character because she had more of a character other than just teaching them stuff. The whole arc is basically a big training arc, just like Heaven's Arena arena, but actually is even longer. Sometimes it felt dragged and boring, but there were definitely highlights like the softball match against Raizo, or actually the battle against the main villain Genfu, which seems to be rather unpopular, I think. I agree that the villains of this arc, the bombers, were kinda weak characterized, but the battle in itself was nice to watch in my opinion. Also something I liked was Hisoka, although he is literally clearly a pedophile, and I genuinely don't know how to deal with an anime that's this amazing, has an amazing antagonist, and makes him pedophile. I love the usage of his character. He can be whatever he feels like, villain, antagonist, or even foe like in this arc. Lastly, I was kinda disappointed how less we got to see the Phantom Troop again, which was kinda teased at the beginning of this arc, which would also make this arc a lot more interesting. That's my opinion at least. All in all, this arc was enjoyable, but nothing I will be mentioning when talking about Shonen's greatest arcs. Unlike probably the Chimera arc, which I'm currently watching and which already is so good, but more on that maybe in another YouTube video. In a nutshell, Hunter x Hunter is totally recommendable if you haven't already watched it, and you should probably watch the 2011 version if you ask me. And even though I kinda talk bad about some arcs, I still had fun watching it, but so far the Hunter exam arc and York New arc are absolutely highlights. Well, thank you for listening up until now, and as I already said, if you want to see a part 2, why not leave a comment and a like or subscribe so it pops off in your subfeed. Bye!